Welcome, Falcon fans, to week 7 of the Coaches Show. I know we say it every week, but the season seems to be blowing by really, really fast. So, hey, we coming off of a great win last week, Coach. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was a good win, a homecoming win. I think we got tested in a different way, last week, and it was good. Like we said, every week is different. For us to get out multiple scores, kind of like we have been able to a little bit, and then those guys from Riverside come back, and hit us, back and tie it up at 14, and then for our kids to respond like they did, that was a good test for us, and hopefully something we can learn from.
We talk a lot about offense and defense, and sometimes we almost skip over the third phase of the game, outside of Weston being injured, but this is 2 games this season now that your special teams, your punt team, has put you in a great position coming out. How big has special teams play been this year?
Oh, it's huge, and it gets overlooked, like you said. Everything from, like last week, everybody notices the big plays, the momentum changers, and that's what we talked about. We want to avoid the negative momentum changers, and we want to produce some big time momentum changers for us. Obviously, with the first drive and Matt blocking the punt and Tate scooping it up and scoring, that's a big one, to start off the game. Anytime that you can, special teams, you can either give away points or put points on the board, it's huge, So anytime you have a chance to score on special teams, and you do, that's great, Some of your other special teams, extra points, those are huge because you're either losing a point or gaining a point every time you kick one. Kickoff return and kickoff. So those are, even though they're not always people scoring, you talk about field position, and that's something that's overlooked a lot is field position. And, we want to get the ball out there as far as we can and have a shorter field to start with every time. We always hope that we only have one kickoff return, and that's either to start the game or the half. That means they're not scoring any touchdowns, but field position's huge. I think our defense has done an amazing job this year of giving the offense good field position. Yeah. And then on top of that, I think we've had some good punt returns. I've had some really good kickoff returns as well. So that third phase, is huge. Often overlooked. I think our coaches and our kids do a good job. We spend a lot of time with special teams during the week, so I think you saw that come into play last week.
We talk a lot about the character of this team and not, getting too high, too low at any point in the game, and I think that showed through. When they came back and tied at 14-14, what was the tone on the sidelines? What was everybody?
Well, honestly, I think you're a little bit, I don't think anybody was shook, but at the same time, you want to put them away, and at that point, we had a chance to, and it was, I would say, a little disappointment, I guess, but, nobody was shook or rattled, I don't think. So I think it was more of a, all right, here we go. They're going to keep fighting. Here's the thing about it. We were playing hard still. It's not like it's not like we took our foot off the gas. That quarterback was as advertised.
And absolutely.
He just kind of took over a little bit, and we were hitting him. We had guys there, and he was rolling off of it, spinning out of it, and stepping through things. And like I said, that kid he was a good player, and I thought we were playing hard still. And then next thing you know, we had like a busted coverage, and they kind of threw it over the top of us. And like I said, our kids did a good job of just continuing to play and execute, and I think we were the better team.
The spin move he had was that was something.
We talked a lot about that because that was, to me, both of those drives, he just basically said, "Get on my back, we're going." And it was obvious he is exactly like you said, as advertised.
He's advertised. He's a good player.
Yeah, there's a reason Army, Navy, everybody's all over him. But it seems like every week there's a new person we're talking about. Last week it was Tanner Adams with, just that electric speed once he hit the corner. You see Zach Zundel. If the turf doesn't get him, he's in. What is it for you as a coach? Did you see that amount of depth coming into the season, or has anybody did you know this was what you had?
Yeah, I think I think what I would tell people in the summers, I thought we had a chance to be pretty good. That's kind of a blanket statement, but I knew we had some good returners, and then I thought we had some guys coming up from the JV that it was going to be their opportunity to take a step, and I think we've had some guys do that. So that's always really satisfying, I guess, as a coach, is seeing those guys kind of come in, fill in those gaps, and then that's why you play. That's why you play sub-varsity. That's why you play at the freshman level and JV level, to step in, you know. And we don't, like I said, we don't want to have those up and down. We want to consistently, you know, not rebuild. We want to reload every year, you know. And that's why I think what we do, the way we practice with our sub-varsities and the attention we give them, helps us do that every year. So proud of those, you know, new faces, you know, for stepping up. Like you said, you know, guys like Zach Zundel, you know, just be able to step in there like that and do some good things. A lot of our offensive linemen, some new faces in there. Some of our receivers even have taken on bigger roles. You know, you look at a Cole Purcell, who was on the varsity last year and did some really good things. You know, he's taking the next step as well. You know, it's not necessarily just new faces to the varsity, but it's guys we're asking them to take larger roles, you know, in Friday nights that maybe didn't have as big as a role, you know, last year when they were out there. So it's good to see that, because you can talk about it, preach about it to your kids, and be ready, know your role. Some games your role may be a little smaller or bigger than other weeks. Just be ready to go. Just play your hardest, give us everything you got, and be ready, and generally good things will happen. When you say those things and those things happen for those kids, then it's really nice, because you feel like all right, well, I see what you're talking about now, Coach. Yeah, we're ready. So I just like it when those opportunities come up.
Well, we're definitely not hiding in the shadows after the rankings this week, for sure. Big jump, really. I think most were had us at 5 or 6. Now 1 and 2 polls for sure. Again, I know we don't talk about it, and the team probably doesn't look at it, but how does it make you feel from a program perspective to see, wow, we're really being recognized, and that's years and years of hard work?
Sure, yeah, that's like you said, I don't really address it or talk about it. There's a lot of different opinions, and the only polls, only rankings that matter is the one end of the season. And we know that, our kids know that. But like you said, most of the players see them, you know. I honestly don't look at any of the rankings, but I have people tell me. So
If you didn't know, he does now.
Yeah, I don't know. So like I said, but I do think, I mean, that's something that the kids have earned, you know, and they should be proud of that. And you know, not only as this team, but as a program, you know, I think we want to use that to build in future years. I think it's also probably a credit to past players, past coaches, guys that started this program, coaches that started this program, players that started this program. The bar was set pretty high, pretty early, you know. So, you know, that's a credit just to, you know, everybody, players, coaches, you know, parents that have come through this program. And, you know, it's certainly something to be proud of for our kids and our coaches. But, you know, all in all, it really doesn't mean much right now, other than we're playing pretty good. And I wouldn't mind seeing that same ranking when the season's over with.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, you talk about the guys that have come before. We've had a lot of guys play on Saturdays. There seems to be a lot of guys on this team that can play Saturday football. Are you starting to see some of that recognition and the acknowledgement in the rankings? Are they bringing a little more attention to the guys and their opportunities they're getting?
I think naturally that happens. Yeah, I think, you know, for the 3 years that I've been head coach, I think this is probably more attention, obviously, than we've had a little bit in the past. But I think that, to me, my opinion on all that is any individual awards, accolades, all that stuff, just win. It'll take care of itself. Just win. Just prepare yourself right. Okay? Do the right things. Don't worry about the individual accolades. I could care less about those things. Okay? I want to go win on Friday nights. And when you do those things, the rest will take care of itself. Put your team first. Always be a team player. Don't worry about any of that other stuff, because that can start sinking in, and we're not going to let it. But worry about team first. It's always team first. There's a big sign in our locker room that's, you know, it states that, you know, that we want to be a team over me program, not the other way around. And if you do that, then good things will happen to you.
Even from a business perspective, when you talk about, or I talk about our team with my teams all the time, and there's a big saying in the industry that says, you know, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So I think that's the case even in sports, right? So if you have a great culture, you can execute whatever you want to execute, but it builds with that culture and that program. And I think you guys have done a really good job building that over the years. Having somebody that's had 3 kids go through the program, I can definitely say that, and one coming up. So, Coach, we head into this week, but let's talk a little bit about games last night. I think we had some traveling on the road as well last night.
We had a freshman JV on the road. Muleshoe did not have a freshman team, so we sent Muleshoe over to Wellington and played a pretty tough game over there. We know we're very proud of our freshmen and what they've done and where they're headed and what they're going to do for us. You know, they went on the road and played a good Wellington JV team, and you know, hopefully learned a lot last night. You know, you win, you learn from wins, you learn from losses, and you know, the good thing I know with that group, they haven't lost very much, you know, in the past, and you know, sometimes you can't. I'd rather learn from a win for sure, but especially at that level, you know, you're still trying to build, you're still trying to learn, you're trying to improve and see what you're made of, you know. And I think that the best thing you can do is go play really good teams, you know. And you know, hopefully those guys learn from that. I know they will. JV went over to Muleshoe, had a really good night, won that ball game over there. Proud of those guys. Those guys continue to work hard and practice, those JV kids, and give us a great look in for our scout team, for our varsity. And those kids are doing a great job. Really proud of them. Both of our junior highs were here 7th grade. Had a good night, won big in 8th grade. They won as well. Really tight game, really fun to watch. Proud of those kids. They've been playing hard, you know, working to improve, and I really was hoping that they would pull it out last night, and they did, and scored with about 30 seconds left to win that ball game. So good night for the Falcons.
Yeah, that always pumps those kids up when they get those last minute wins too.
Right. You know, you talk about JV, and I felt like towards the end last week we were calling a lot of JV numbers, a lot of JV names. What has that been to be able to get them quality reps on Friday night under the lights? Because you never know what's going to happen. You may need those guys to step up in big moments. How's that been to be able to get some of those guys good opportunities? That's
great for them, great for our team, because like I said last week, with you know, playing Riverside, and obviously we weren't going to play sub-varsities, we weren't going to play JV with those guys. Couldn't find a JV game for our JV team, so you know, we decided to move 8 or 9 of those guys up, and you know, give us a little depth. You know, and what it allowed us to do is put some of those guys on some special teams to give those starters a break, you know, because some of those guys are playing offense, playing defense on special teams. We try to break as much as you can, but at this level, you know, at this size school, still, it's hard to do that. And we have great numbers, you know, but we thought, you know, if we can move some of those guys up, and we trusted them, you know, that we could put them on some special teams, which give those other guys a break. And, you know, right off the bat, I think you saw, I remember that very first kickoff and kicked it down there, and I think it was tag thrash, you know, just a kid that does his job, you know, goes down there, he's a contained guy, and that returner from Riverside, he's trying to get outside of him, and Tag's just standing there with his back to the sideline saying, you're not going to get outside of him. And, you know, he did his job. When everybody does their job, then the team succeeds from it. And, you know, we didn't give up any big ones on the kickoff return with those guys in there. You know, then, you know, later in the game, we were able to get some of those guys in on offense and defense, which is great experience for them. Yeah. I think the more you can do that, you know, the more confidence they get. You know, like you said, if we need to use them come district or playoffs, you know, in a big spot, they've got some plays under their belt, you know. So it's a reward for those guys, but it also helps, you know, our varsity out tremendously when we can bring those guys up.
How fun is it as a coach to see that the first time they run on? They get to look up in the stands. It's a cool feeling.
It's fun, especially when you go out there to call the first offensive play and you have the huddle and some of their eyes are just moving around. But it's fun because you can tell they're excited. You know, yeah, think back to the first time that, you know, you went out there as a varsity player, just the excitement, the anxiousness, nervous, just a little bit scared, you know, just not know what to expect. So it's fun to see those guys go out there and do that.
That is fun. All right, so this week opens district play, home again. Yay, we like that. This has been a great year for travel from a varsity perspective, I'll say that. But so we got Muleshoe coming in, 1 loss. I think that was their first game of the year. What do you see with these Mules that may be a little bit different than past years?
Yeah, they have a good team. Obviously, they have a really good team. They're 5-1 coming in. They've won 5 in a row. Lost that first game of the year. You know, I think I was telling people this summer when people always ask as you start getting closer to 2 days, well, how's it going to be this year? How are we going to look? You know, and what's the district look like? And, you know, I told people all summer, I thought that Muleshoe was going to be one of the sleepers in the district. They're going to be a tough team because they have some kids coming back. They've had several that have been 3 and 4 year starters that are seniors this year. They have some good wideouts. They're quick, catch the ball well, good running back. Number 21 that does a great job. You know, he was a kid that qualified in I think he got 3rd at the state track meet last year in the 400. So a strong kid, a strong runner. They do some things really well on offense. You know, defensively, some of the same athletes over there on that side too. So they're just an athletic group that plays hard, and I think they believe they can win. You know, Coach Richards does a good job. I know him; he's a great guy. So they're a really good football team, and we'll have our hands full tonight.
Speaking of Coach Richards, he's done an amazing job rebuilding that program. I mean, I think for the last 6 years, we haven't really worried about Muleshoe. I mean, they're 2 years removed from an 0-10 season, and to see them come in, he's just changed the culture of Muleshoe, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, you know, first of all, the thing for me is that, especially as a head coach, there's not a team that you don't worry about.
Yeah.
You worry every week, you know. I think you just want to make sure I think the time that you stop worrying is when you let one sneak up on you. So I'm worrying every week. You may not be, but I am.
But from a fan perspective, you look
Yeah.
at it, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this one doesn't make me sweat quite like El Paso Riverside or Dumas, you know, but
Yeah.
he's built something. He's
Yeah,
got something going on.
You know, they've had a good program for a long time. You know, obviously going back to Coach Wood's time over there, and then winning a state championship, I believe, and then just having a lot of great teams, and I guess they were probably down for a few years there, but they have some athletes right now. Coach Richards has done a good job. Like I said, he's a great guy, a friend of mine. So they're a good program, and you'll see tonight. They're going to play hard, they're going to play tough, and they have some kids. So we're looking forward to a fun matchup.
Yeah, definitely excited to get this district underway for sure. So change of questions a little bit, Coach. And we don't prep them ahead of time, just so y'all know.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
don't know where this is going there, but
So the season is stressful. You guys all the coaches put in a lot of overtime. What do you do to try to step away from that during the season, just to kind of reset each week? What's something you do with your family, or just how do you get away just to take a little bit of a break?
good question. But I love number one, I love to go watch my kids play, compete, do whatever they're doing. Obviously Colton right now is not able to play.
He's mowing my yard, but
He's
I
mowing
appreciate
your
that.
yard. It gives him some gas money, so I appreciate it as well. So, and then my daughter cheers, plays volleyball, start basketball here in a couple of weeks, and then my youngest son, Tate, he's doing too much right now. That's our fault. But he's in tackle football, flag football. They're doing some baseball, playing some games on the weekends a little bit. So it's fun for me. I enjoy going to watch my kids. Maybe even just something as simple as just a night out, going to eat with my wife, just for us to get some time away from the chaos, stuff like that. One of the other things I enjoy doing that gets and this is kind of a selfish one, but I love playing golf, and I'm not very good, but I love going to play. And my playing partner is probably watching this morning, my cousin Nathan. He understands, for me it's a stress reliever a lot, and probably for him too a lot. So we go out. Doesn't happen very often during the season, but occasionally on a Saturday evening or something after work or something, try to go out and go to the golf course. Just a good getaway to kind of forget about everything. So that's a good question, but that's about all I have time for, really. Just
Sure.
either go watch my kids, or maybe sneak in 18 holes on a Saturday night or something. So just really enjoy doing both of those things.
And this year, you're not just a one-coach household. You got a two-coach, with the wife being the cheer coach this year.
She, I guess, volunteered would be the right way to be the junior high cheer sponsor, and we had discussions about it, and I kind of told her, I said, well, in my position, in my spot, there's probably enough people that hate us already that I wouldn't suggest adding to it. But no, she just wanted to help out. Obviously my daughter's a cheerleader, and they needed a sponsor, so they could do their thing. And somebody needed to step up, and she decided to do it, maybe against my will, but kind of shows you who runs the household there. But anyway, no, I'm just proud of her and thankful for her for doing that. You know, just trying to help those girls. You know, if not, then they may not be cheering right now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been busy times for us, and like I said, just proud of my wife and everything that she does too.
You know, a lot of people go into making the environment that we have. And I think those are some of those people that get overlooked, and the Coach Rankins, doing the announcing, and just even our gatekeepers, everything that goes into Friday night. We like to show up and watch the game, and we get the privilege of calling it, but I don't think until we hosted that playoff game last year, I don't think I realized how many people, because now it's not our kids, so you're looking around at who all's there, and you realize how many people go in to make that game happen on a Friday night.
You're exactly right. You know, and I'm probably going to talk a little bit about that at the pep rally today, but I would encourage somebody that comes to a game just to kind of sit back and get away from it all and just look and just observe a little bit. And it's exactly what you're talking about. That's what I love about football, high school football, is it's not just about the football team. You know, it's about that Friday night in your community at your place. And just sit back and observe and see how many people are there, how many people are involved, and what it takes to make a Friday night work. I mean, you're talking about everything, and I realized that used to I could just go show up and coach and do my job. Now I got to help make sure everything's set up, ready to go. My clock guy's ready and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. I mean, just, you know, you're talking about, as far as making the game go, you're talking about obviously the teams, the players, the officials. You're talking about gatekeepers. You're talking about clock workers. You know, you're talking about the concession people. You know, the people running concessions and having to sign up and get that, you know, planned out and everything. You know, just the band, the cheerleaders, it's the community, the fans, everything going on. You know, your police officers that are there, you know, that take their time off to go, you know, work those things. There's just a lot of things going on a Friday night. But that's what makes it so special too, because it's, you know, it's such a big community event. You know, and I don't mean this towards any other sport, because they're all equally important, but you know, there's something special about a Friday night, just bringing the community together, bringing that many people together, you know, is something special that, you know, obviously when you're winning, it makes it good, it makes it great. You know, winning's always fun, sends everybody home happy, but just win or lose, just being really thankful for those people that are there, that are helping make Friday nights work.
Yeah, because we get there hour and a half early, and we're not the first ones there.
We're not.
You know, there's plenty of people moving around.
I tell you, last Friday was incredible. That was the first time in 11 years you know, we're out there in warm-ups from 6:15. It's almost completely full, you know. And I know it was homecoming and everything, and you know, that's awesome. I mean, you kind of look up there and you're like, wow, you know, 6:15 and this place is almost full already. So just again, really thankful for our community.
Well, we've really noticed over the last couple of years. I mean, this is my 7th year to now, it's 8th year kind of working with you guys, because I did clock the first year. Thank goodness I don't do that anymore. And one year of Canadian and Bushland running the clock, we'll say, I need to do something now, so I assure you. But no, seriously, the amount of community that now attends these games, we're going to start looking at new stands before long, because we had people, I know Trey got there late, and he's sitting on the other side, because there wasn't room. And so
Even Coach Thomas showed up, was on the other side. I was like, you're hiding out over there.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
he probably did on purpose.
He did.
We're gonna need some more bleachers.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
email
great problem.
Chris Wigington.
Yeah, we'll give you that
You
email
see-
address.
We're gonna throw him
If you
under
see
the bus.
Mr. Wigington at the game tonight, make sure you ask. New bleachers.
I'll tell him Chris sent you.
Yeah, there you go. Chris to Chris. So, well, Coach, we're excited about tonight, get district play underway. Great to have another home game as well, and just see the community support that'll come out. So best of luck tonight. Kickoff at 7 o'clock.
Yes, 7 o'clock.
As always, we want you at the game, pack the stands. If you're out of town or a family that lives somewhere else, we'll get started. Hopefully, we say 6:30ish because sometimes our best intentions, we don't always get started on time, but we'll be right at close to 6:30 with that, with kickoff at 7 o'clock. Stephen and I will bring you that play-by-play action and hear from all of our great sponsors. So for Coach Reynolds, Stephen Lyles, this is Chris Welch. Y'all have a good evening.
Go Falcons.